Lesson 1-2 Solving linear inequalities. Looking at this instruction from number 1 through number 6, define a variable and write inequality for each problem. Okay, let's use n is the variable in this case. Or you can, if you want to use x, you can go ahead and use x as a variable. Question 1, 12 less than the product of 3 and a number. Okay, 3 and a number, 3n. 12 less than, so minus 12. And then is less than, okay, is less than 21. So 3n minus 12 less than 21. Number 2, the quotient of 3 times a number. The quotient of 3 times a number and 4 is at least which means greater than or equal to, is at least negative 16. Number 3, the difference of 5 times the number, 5 times the number, difference minus, and 6 is greater than the number, okay, greater than n. Number 4, the quotient of the sum. The quotient of the sum of 3 and a number, okay, the quotient of the sum of 3 and a number, so you have a number plus 3 and 6 over 6. So the quotient of the sum of 3 and a number and 6 that make a quotient is less than negative 2. Now for number 5. Number 5, 1/3 of the sum. Okay, you have 1/3 of the sum of 5 times a number and 3 is less than, okay, is less than 1/4 the sum of 6 times that number and 5, okay, of 6 times that number, which is n, times n and 5, the sum. Alright, number 6, the sum of 1/3 a number, the sum of 1/3 a number and 4. Is this 1/3 of the sum? Is this the sum of 1/3? Okay, so 1/3 of a number and 4, the sum. This is 1/3 of a number and 4 is at most. When I say at most, this is lesser than or equal to. For the word at least, greater than or equal to, at most, which means lesser than or equal to, the sum of twice that number, okay, of twice that number and 12. The sum is plus and 12. Okay, let's move on to solving inequality. Solving inequality, you do the same thing like you do the equation. Negative 3x remain the same sign and write down the 12. Now you transpose number 18. Is this plus 18? You transpose to this side, become minus 18. So you have negative 3x. Now 12 minus 18, you will have minus 6. Since you have a negative coefficient, then you change the direction of the sign. So x is right now become greater than, because when the coefficient of the variable is negative, to get to the final answer, you need to change the direction of the sign. Now changing. Minus 6 divides minus 3, that will give you x greater than 2. Okay. So next number 8. you need to do the distributive property first. You have negative 8 times 4, which is negative 32x, and then negative 8 times 6 is negative 48, and then minus 24. Now let's do the transposing. We have negative 32x this side, signs to the same, minus 24, and then when you move 48 to the other side, become plus 48 transposing. So you have negative 32x smaller than or equal to, if you have 48 minus this is 32x, sorry, 32x. If you have the negative 24 plus 48, you will have this as 24. So this is negative coefficient, and then you will have this as x, change direction of the sign, 24 divides negative 32, and you simplify it to get to the final answer by yourself. And looking at number 9. Number 9, you have the fraction 1/4 of n plus 12 and 3/4 of n minus greater than 3/4 of n minus 4. Now let's work on that. Right, so let me try to bring all the n together first. You have 1/4 n. Now when you move this one to this side, become minus 3/4 of n. Sign stay the same for the moment first. Write down negative 4 first. Now you transpose 12, become minus 12. Okay, now you have 1 minus 3, because the same denominator, you have a minus 2 over 4n greater than or equal to minus 4 minus 12 minus 16. Now since you can simplify this one first if you want to, or if you don't want, you can just multiply in and simplify later. So to get the n value, this is negative again, so you change direction of the sign to this to this direction, and then n is equal to is smaller than or equal to negative 16 multiplied by the inverse of this one, 4 negative 4 over 2, and you simplify this, you multiply it, you will have your answer. Okay, number 10, you do the same process like this number. Number 11, do the same thing, move an x together, move number together and work for it. Number 12, the same idea. Oh, we have number 12 to time, so it's supposed to be 13, this one. For number 13, n greater than or equal to this, or greater than this fraction. So to do this one, you need to find the denominator first by multiply 8 with n. So you have 8n greater than negative 3n minus 15. Now once you have this, you just move n to this side. You will have 8n plus 3n greater than, like this, 8n plus 3n greater than negative 15. You do furthermore, you have 11n greater than negative 15, and you do the division to find the value of n. As simple as that. Same idea with number 14. You multiply 2, a negative 2 or with 5. So when you multiply this together, you have negative 10 or 5 times negative 2, negative 10 or, sign like this, 6 minus 2 or. Once you have like this, you just move to the other side. You have minus 10 or, now become plus 2 or. And from that, I'm pretty sure you can get the value all by yourself, because I already showed you many many of the problems up here, the way of doing it. For number 15, the denominator are not the same. So all you need to do in this section, you just simply doing the cross product, which means 5 times 7 times 2, and then 4 times 9z times minus 4. Let's do, I will show you a few steps, and I'll leave the rest of the step for you to find the answer by yourself. If you multiply this one together, 4 times 9 is 36, so you have 36z, and then negative 4 times 4, you have negative 16. The signs stay the same. Now it's times 3 times 7, or 5 times 7 is 35z, and then 5 times 2 is 10. And then you can move 36z, this is transposing to this side, become minus 35z, signs stay the same for the moment. And then you have to write down the 10 and move 6 to this side, transposing it, become positive 16. And then from that, I'm pretty sure you can find the answer. What is z equal to, or what is the value of z? Okay, now looking at this one together, they're asking for the artistic score. The scoring, they're taking 75% out of technical score, with 25% of artistic score. All the score are out of 10, okay, and one gymnastic has a 7.6 average technical score. Okay, have this score. So 75% of that technical score are the 25% of the artistic score. So, and they want the average score. So they need to have a final score. Okay, they want to have a final score of at least 8.0. So what is the artistic score? To add to this score to make 8 for the final score, or greater, at least 8.0. Let's write down the equation, the inequality first, for us to understand how to find the technical artistic score. So you have 75% of this score of the technical score. So 75%, which means 0.75 of, which multiply 7.6, and then you plus with 25%, so 0.25% of, let's say, let's represent artistic score by letter A. Okay, so which means 75% of the technical score plus 25% of the artistic score, and they want at least. So when I say at least, which is greater than or equal to 8.0, and of this case. Now once you have this equation, you just do the solving like we did in this previous exercises, by follow the step that I've taught you in this section, and I'm pretty sure you will be able to get to the answer. Okay, you can just multiply this inside and you move to this direction, so you have 8.0 minus this together. Once you get the answer, you divide by 0.25. that will give you the answer of the artistic score, this section. Let me repeat. All you need to do, you just multiply this together. When you have a certain number only when you multiply them together. This is together. So after you multiply in, when you transpose to the other side, it becomes minus. So 8 minus this product, then you have a number. Once you have that number, you divide that by 0.25. It will give you the answer to the score of artistics. Number 17. Number 17, Danielle can hike 3 miles in an hour, but she has to take an hour. She had to take an hour break for lunch and an hour break for dinner. Okay, it seems like she spent 2 hours for a whole trip of hiking. she wants to hike at least 18 miles. How many hours should the hike take? Okay, asking for the height alone. Should it take? I mean, not for the whole hike. How many hours did she take for the hike? At least 18 miles. Keep in mind that she needs 2 hours for lunch and dinner. So lunch 1 hour, dinner for 1 hour. So be sure to include that in the hour that she spent for hiking. So let me represent, let's say, H for the hour that she spent on hiking. But to get the hiking alone that she spent another, so which means, in other words, she wastes 2 hours, which means within 2 hours that she in the hour of hiking, she take 2 hours for lunch and dinner. So that the hour of her spending, and for getting the hike, you time by 3. This is the hour of hiking. So when for 3 hours, she actually hiked only 1 hour. So if she spent 3 hours, her actual hour of hiking is only 1 hour, because yes, she walked only 1 hour. Because the other 2 hours she spent on lunch and on dinner. That's why we minus 2 to get the actual hour of she actually doing the walking, the hiking. And then she want at least, which means greater than or equal to 18. So you solve this problem, you multiply this together. Let's say you have 3h minus 6 greater than or equal to 18. And then when you continue to solve this one, it will give you how many hours she needs to hike at least 18 miles. Okay. So number 8. If you're looking at the problem, somehow it's a little bit confusing in this case, I think. But if you continue to read furthermore, and if you cannot understand for the first time, you might want to read it again, because we have her weekly base salary and her commission earned by selling by earn commission for every advertisement he sell, okay, by selling the advertisement that he make. Alright, now let's try to get to answer question A first. Question A, for question A, 250, that's her base salary, so you have $250 for base salary plus her commission, which is 3%, 0.03. That 3% of the advertisement that he going to sell. So one advertisement costs $500, and for let me represent A for the advertisement. Why this like that? Because if he sell one advertisement, which means that 3% of 500. If he sell 2 advertisements, which means that 3% of 1,000. But the question is, we do not know how many advertisements that he going to sell. So we represent the number of advertisements that he going to sell during that week by A. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. We do not know. But he need to make a certain advertisement so that he can make his payment at that week is at least $700. This is for the inequality, for the problem. So once you have this inequality, you solve this inequality, then that will give you what is the value of A. How many advertisement is that? Is it bigger than 10? At least 8 advertisement, at least 7 advertisement. You need to find out this one by yourself by doing the calculation. Last number 19. For number 19, we have a side, the side of a square ABC. Okay, this one ABC is a square, so let me represent this as A. The side length of a square A are extended to form a rectangular DEFG. Alright, if the perimeter of rectangular, okay, perimeter of a rectangular, let me find the perimeter of a rectangular first. You have the length, this is the length and the width. So a rectangular shape in this particular case is the width of this rectangle is 8 plus A, and the length is 10 plus A. So the width and the length. Now to find the perimeter of the rectangle, you can either plus all the four sides together, or the width plus the length, and then you times by 2. So let's plot this one together, width plus length first, where by formula find let's say perimeter of rectangle is equal to L plus W. So you have P equal to 2. When you plus this one together, 8 plus 10, you have 18. A plus A, you have 2A. And plus 8 plus 10, you have 18. So when you multiply this together, you have 4A plus 36. So 4A plus 36, 4A plus 36, this is the value of, this is the perimeter of rectangle. If you're looking at the problem, it said that if the perimeter of rectangle is at least twice, okay, if at least twice, which means that lesser than lesser than or equal to of at least twice that number, so well, at least I think at least, oh no, sorry, we make a mistake on this. At least should be greater than or equal to, I'm sorry, get lost for the moment at this part. The perimeter of rectangle is at least greater than or equal to twice the perimeter of a square. Perimeter of a square in this case, will give you a 4A. You can plus all the sides together. This one A, this one also A, so 2A, 3A, 4A, or A times 4 sides. So you have 4A. So once you have this, you solve this inequality to get the value of A. So when you solve, you have 4A plus 36 greater than or equal to 8A, and you have 36 greater than or equal to 8A minus 4A, then you will have 36 greater than or equal to 4A. Now to get A value, let me do like this first, so that to give you a better picture of doing this problem. Alright, so now then you have A is lesser than or equal to 9. Read the question again on this part. What is the maximum side length? What is the maximum length of a side of a square? That is for the maximum, the biggest number that the side length of a square can get into. Now look at the inequality. The side length of a square can get up to number 9 or 9 and below, but the biggest is 9. See, lesser than or equal to 9 or 9 and below. So the maximum the side length of a square can get is 9. And this case is inches, so 9 inches. Lesson 1-3, rate of change and slope. Looking at the table, you will see this is the lizard temperature during illness over a three-day period. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is the time. This is a 12 hours hour period. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 12 hour, and 12 hour. Between that changing in temperature. This is in Fahrenheit. Question A. What was the average rate of change in lizard temperature from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday? Her change in temperature from 8 a.m. is on Monday. Talk about Monday. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Again, this is a 12 hours period. So, what's the change on Monday? When I say rate of change, how many degree Fahrenheit does it change per hour? So, to do it, all you need to do is you get 102.3. That's for the final temperature on that day, minus the initial temperature, which is 100.5. Once you do the minus, you will get an answer. After you get that answer, you divide by 12 hours period. So you divide it by 12. That will give you 0.15. So 0.15 degree Fahrenheit per hour. So that her temperature changed during 12 hours period on Monday. Question B. What was the average rate of change? Okay, again, lizard temperature from 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Okay, this one, a.m. on Tuesday all the way through p.m. 8 p.m. on Wednesday. It seems like her temperature is going down. So she's feeling better by looking at the temperature. She's getting better, and it's gonna be a minus answer because it's going down. All you need to do is you do the minus the final temperature, which is 98.6 minus 103.1. That will give you is, once you do the minus, you will have this number. You will have as minus 4.5. After that, you need to use this number to divide the hour period. Let's think about this first. a.m. on Tuesday, 2 a.m. p.m. on Tuesday, that's 4 hours. p.m. on Tuesday, 2 p.m. on Wednesday, that's another 12 hours, is 24 hours. And you have another 12 hours to this p.m. So it seems like you have one day and a half. So this is 36 hours. Okay, when you have that, you divide by 36 hours. That's the hour that's spanning from 8 a.m. on Tuesday to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. 1.5 day or 36 hours. You divide by 36. That will give you a minus 0.125 degree Fahrenheit per hour, which means that her temperature drop at this rate per hour. Is your answer reasonable? What does the sign of the rate change mean? Okay, this is reasonable, and what it means like this. So the next question, yes, reasonable, or next answer to the question, we are reasonable. What does mean? What does the sign of the rate mean? The sign talk about the negative. What does it mean by that? It means that the temperature is dropping. You can write it down by yourself. It means that her temperature is dropping. So as simple as that. It's going down. It's dropping. Okay. Question C. during which 12 hours period was the average rate of change in desired temperature the greatest. Okay, you already know that on Monday 0.15, you need to find on Tuesday and on Wednesday as well. So since you already have Monday, let's find Tuesday. Tuesday 100.7 minus 107.7 minus 100.3, sorry, 103.1, and you divide by 12. The will give you is minus 0.2. Yeah, this one as minus 0.2, and this is a 0.15, this 0.2, and you have the fourth on Wednesday. You have 98.6 minus 99.9, and you divide by 12. You will have minus 0.1, like this. So what was the average change? That was the greatest. This is the greatest change. So to write the answer, you write like this. Tuesday, the 12-hour period is Tuesday 8 a.m. to Tuesday 8 p.m. So this is the greatest change. So Tuesday, let me write Tuesday 8 o'clock a.m. to Tuesday 8 o'clock p.m. That's how you write your answer from that period of time. Okay, now for finding the slope. But slope formula, m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. That is slope formula. You can apply this one for this number from number 2 to number 4. I'll just do one number for you. Let me choose number 3 to do this for you. The rest of the number you follow the same thing. This x, y, x, y, and this x2 or this y2, you get the second point, y2, which is 3 minus y1, which is negative 11. So minus 11 become plus 11 over 6 minus, you minus again 9 become plus 9, and you have this one as 14 over 15 for number 3. You do the same idea with the rest of the number. Let me put this one as x, y, and you follow the style like this number x, y, x, y. See? Nothing difficult. Okay, a few more numbers before we're done with this section. Let's work on number 5. Number 5. Look at the table. Question A. Find the average rate of change in rider's height, is the height, between 1 second. Okay, from 1 to 3. From 1 to 3, so you will do the final minus the initial. The final is 30, initial is 90. So 30 minus 90, you got 60, and then 3 minus 1, you got 2, so 60. Well, so let me repeat so that you can catch up with me. This is for 1 minute to 1 second to 3 seconds, so between 1 and 3. So first you need to get the height. So when final height 30 minus 90, you will get 60. You divide by the second, 3 seconds minus 1 second, you got 2. This is minus 60, so you will have minus 30. and this is seen as height feet in seconds, so you will have this for the rate of change minus 30 feet per second. Letter B. And for letter B, same idea like number 1. This is find the average rate of change, right as high between 0, okay, from 0 all the way to 5 seconds. So the initial, the final is 0 minus the initial, which is 120, over the final is 5, the initial is 0. Which seems like you have negative 120 over 5. So 120 you divide 5, that gives you a negative 24. So in this feet, so you have negative 24 feet per second. Okay. Like question C, what is another word for rate of change? So it seems like you have negative 30 feet per second, 24 feet per second, or so this is like a speed. So I think this case it represents the speed, or you can say or velocity of the rider, velocity. Okay. So because of the feet per second, or you can say meter per second, it also talk about speed or velocity when you're moving at certain speed, you know. Number 6 to number 11. Determine the rate of change. Before you determine the rate of change, we have to identify the form. We call it a slope-intercept form first, then you will know what rate of change is. Now, it looks this way: y equal to mx plus b. Now, m here we call slope, or we call that the rate of change. That for this kind of equation, so you need to look for the value for this section. No, for with the x. The rest of the number you don't need to bother. All you need to do is find the value in front of x, or we call coefficient of x. Provide that y is 1 by itself like this, by default 1. This is 6. So when you move to this side, we're gonna be divided by 6. It's gonna be divided 6. So therefore 8 divided 6, simplify it. 8 over 6, when you simplify, you have 4 over 3. So the rate of change in this case is 4 over 3. That's for the rate of change. And for number, let me write the big formula up here for us to take note of. For number 7, you move x to another side, you have negative 2y equal to negative 16x. No, I don't bother with this number. I just want to move x so that I get the value with the x value as the rate of change. So when I did that, I move this one to this side. Oh, this is no more minus. I'll remove it, transposing it. So to get y, I have y equal to 16 divided by negative 2. So in this case, my rate of change for this number is going to be negative 8. You do the rest with this number. You move x to this side, become minus 20, and then minus 20 divided by 85. You will have your rate of change. For this number, you move x to this side, you will have negative 12x. Negative 12 divided by negative 4. That will give you the rate of change of this number. How about number 10 and number 11 with the fraction? So let me show you how to do with the fraction. First you need to do is to move x to the side first. You have negative 5 over 4y is equal to negative 3 over 2x. Okay? Because this is positive, and when you move to the other side, become negative. When you have negative both sides like this, just disregard the negative, we already simplified it. Now y equal to, you have to multiply by the inverse. So you have 2 over 3 multiplied by 4 over 5. That will give you a 12 over 10. Once you do the simplify, then you will get that answer as a rate of change for number 10. So I will not do this for you. You simplify to get this one by yourself. Number 11. For number 11, the same idea. You have 1 over 6y equal to, move this one to another side, become minus 3 over 8x. So minus. So to get y is equal to minus 3 over 8 multiplied by the inverse of this one, going to be 6 over 1. Then you will have this one as negative 18 over 8. And you simplify this to get to the final answer, and will be your answer for rate of change for this number 11. Last 4 numbers. I will choose 2 numbers to do for you, and I leave the rest for you to think and to do it by yourself. Let me do I will choose number 14 and number 15. This is the slope. This is the point coordinate pair they gave us. Let me write slope formula. Let me write here y equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. That's for slope formula. Slope is given to you, which is m. You have 4 over 3 is equal to y sub 2. In this case is negative 3. Minus y sub 1, in this case, is r. X sub 2, which is 4, minus x sub 1, which is 10. I hope you follow. And then, now once you have this, let's just do this one. 4 over 3, I'm doing step by step right now for you. Minus 3 minus r. Now 4 minus 10, we have minus 6. Now once you have this, you do the cross product. 4 times negative 6, you have negative 24. And then 3 times negative 3, negative 9. 3 times negative r, negative 3r. And you can have negative 24 plus 9 equal to negative 3r. So you have negative 24. Negative 24 plus 9, that will give you a negative 15 equal to negative 3r. From that, please simplify it and solve this equation, simple equation, to find the value of r. Now one last number for number 15. Number 15, formula already given to you, slope is given. You have negative 4 is equal to x sub y sub 2, which is in this case negative 6, minus y sub 1, which is in this case minus 2. So minus with minus become plus 2. And x sub 2, which is r, minus x sub 1, which is, looking at the wrong number already. Let me repeat. R minus 4, m minus 4, y sub 2 minus 6, plus 2, okay. And then x sub 2, which is r, minus x sub 1, which is x, which is 8, right? I thought I made a mistake. Now, in this case, you think you might get lost. You can just put default as 1 like this, over 1. Then you will not get lost anymore. Now when you have this, let's do this one. Negative 4 times r, you have negative 4r. Negative 4 times negative 8, you have positive 32. Equal to negative 6. You can plot this one together. This is a This is the negative 4 times 1, negative 4. Okay, you have negative 4r equal to negative 4, negative 32. Negative 4r equal to negative 36. From that, let's find r by yourself.